I'm just saying. And they call me Chino in high school.
Can I take a picture? Thank you very much. That wasn't the original intro, but I just met Pokimane in front of the Eiffel Tower in Paris with Mexican mariachi music playing in the background. Also, I am Mexican. So yeah, now on with the normal intro, but I just wanted to put that front and center. I just met Pokimane in Paris with mariachi music playing in the background. I am Mexican. That's crazy. Hello everyone, welcome back to another game hunting video. Today, as you can see, we are in Paris and we have one goal for today. As you already know by the title, today we're going to go game hunting in Paris. I'm going to go to as many stores as I can here in France, in Paris, as many retro video game stores, trying to find video games, right? There's one goal. There's one game I want to get here in Paris, and that is Ratatouille for the Nintendo DS. That's the goal, that's what we're going to try to look for, and now let's go game hunting. Our first stop of the day is this store called Trader Games, and on the first floor they have mostly modern consoles, but I'm looking for retro consoles, so that's why we're heading to their second floor. And we start strong with some Japanese games like Neon Genesis Evangelion for the PlayStation 2, as well as a pretty good selection of 3DS games. They also had a pretty nice variety of different amiibo that I was actually considering on getting either Cloud or Zero Suit Samus, but at the end of the day decided not to. And ooh, look at these sealed Game Boy games. We have Zelda Link's Awakening for 300 euros, Metroid Fusion for almost 200 euros. Great games, but the prices are definitely not in my budget. If I'm being completely honest, this store felt like a museum. I felt something nostalgic about seeing all these retro games being sealed up, as well as the loose ones, trying to see if I can find anything interesting for me, but so far, nothing. Also, look at all these Pokemon plushies. Unfortunately, the Wii and Wii U are region locked, so I cannot choose any of these games. However, the console that I am going to be looking for most in this video is going to be the Nintendo DS. And right off the bat, one of the first finds is Rhythm Heaven. I mean, here is Rhythm Paradise, but Rhythm Heaven for the Nintendo DS. Yeah, I'm getting this. Let's see if we find anything else. I did find Call of Duty for the Nintendo DS, but I don't know, should I get it? Should I make a video about all the Call of Duty games for the Nintendo DS? Looking through more games, look, I found True Swing Golf for the Nintendo DS, which is the Japanese game that we got when we went game hunting in Madrid. I also found Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End for the Nintendo DS, and I have something very special planned. So anyways, from Trader Games, this is going to be our haul with Pirates of the Caribbean 3 for the Nintendo DS and Rhythm Heaven. Our next stop is Cards and Games. However, I did not realize this was just a cards game, since they had a lot of trading cards, especially rare Pokemon cards. So if you're in Paris and you want to have Pokemon cards, here is the spot. This is the place. They have all the rare Pokemon cards in here. So yeah, if you ever go to Paris, this is your store. Going on with our adventure, we go to Retrogameplay, which is another video game store. And we of course first look at their Nintendo DS section, which, funny enough, we actually find Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest or Pirates of the Caribbean 2 for the Nintendo DS for only 5 euros, but we already have the third one, so I'm just going to leave it here for the time being, but it is funny for us to actually find another Pirates of the Caribbean game. And also I found the one that we got, but for 5 euros less. Yay. I've heard that this Looney Tunes game is actually pretty fun, but I do not plan on adding it on my collection anytime soon. But hey, look at this! It is Speed Racer for the Nintendo DS. You know what? I actually might get this. But hey, let's take a look at all the retro games that they have from different consoles. You know what I love about going to retro game shop is seeing all these old video games that I wish I could have played on their prime when they just released. So it is kind of like a time capsule for me because I really like seeing old video games that I would have loved to play back in the day. However, I just realized that I think this game does not have English or Spanish, so I think it's just in French. So at the end of the day, I think I am not going to get it because, well, it does not have an English option. Oh wow, look at all these 3DS games that I cannot play, unfortunately, because my console is region locked. However, I didn't see this. This is like a section with loose games and also rare DS games. Oh, you know what? I need to take a look in here. Let's see if we find anything interesting. And I see, Metroid Pinball, but for 150 euros, yikes. Oh, I see Metroid. Metroid? Wait, hold up. I need to get a closer look at that. Metroid Pinball is way too expensive for me, but Metroid Prime Hunters demo, first hunt in all languages, yeah, I need to get this. I am going to get this Metroid Prime Hunters demo. So yeah, Retrogameplay, another very cool store. Our next stop is this store called Full 7. And look, they have video games up outside in the street. As all of these stores, they have a great selection and variety of games. I've actually been trying to find the Shrek 2 as the Game Boy video, trying to see if I can find it in this store. Unfortunately, I cannot, but yet they still have a pretty good selection of Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. Also, the Mario Picross game that I got for 5 euros is 170 sealed. Wow, that's way too much. I also found this Game Boy video for Cartoon Network shows, but yeah, I'm still looking for Shrek 2. That's the one that I really want. And you have to take a look at all this Game & Watch. These look incredible. And now finally, let's start looking into the Nintendo DS section. Let's see if we can finally find Ratatouille or something else that is interesting for our collection. Also, I just saw all these different Game Boy Advance consoles, like this Game Boy Advance SP Metroid Zero Mission one that looks incredible. But anyways, let's look at all the rare Nintendo DS games that they have, like Star Fox that you just saw right over there. And let's see if anything is worth getting for my collection. And yes, it does. Have you seen that? Did you see it? There's a Metroid right there, as well as a bunch of Spider-Man games. But my budget only allows me for one, and Metroid. For 50 euros, I got Metroid Prime Hunters complete with its manual. I am very happy to get this, and yeah, Full 7 is a good store. Our next stop is going to be this store called Game Off. However, while the people in the store were super nice to me, the store is little. It is very little. This is all they had related to Nintendo 3DS and Nintendo DS. It is a pretty small store, which honestly didn't have anything that I wanted or that I needed. And the prices were also a little high for me. But hey, if you're around the area, be sure to visit this store. They had Metroid Fusion, complete and sealed, but yeah, I unfortunately didn't get anything from this store. Next up, for our final store of the day, we're going to Full 7 neighbor, SAT Elite Video Games. And they had a bunch of retro games for PlayStation and Xbox, but we are looking for Nintendo. Not modern Nintendo for the Nintendo Switch, but classic Nintendo, specifically Ratatouille for the Nintendo DS. However, I am not going to lie, their Game Boy and Game Boy Advance section really caught my eye. However, I had to set my mind straight. We are in the last store, we need to get Ratatouille one way or another. So we start looking into their Nintendo DS section, and they have a bunch of classic games that are still missing in my collection. Look, Metroid Hunters as well, Metroid Prime Hunters there. However, not anything that I desperately need as much as Ratatouille right now. Because really, when is the next time I'm going to have the opportunity to buy Ratatouille, the only Disney Pixar film that takes place in Paris, but to buy it in Paris, in France. So this is the only opportunity I have to do something special to me in a weird way for me as a collector. So we look and look. trying to find this game for the Nintendo DS. It has to be here. If it is not here, then it isn't in any retro video game store in all of Paris. And that would really suck. However, hey, have you seen that? Did you see that? I am seeing it. Can you see it? Wait, let me move a little bit. There it is. Yes, we actually found Ratatouille for the Nintendo DS. Sad Elite Video Games gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Thank you for getting me Ratatouille for the Nintendo DS. We were able to get Ratatouille for the Nintendo DS here in Paris, which is insane. This was the goal. It literally was in the last store we visited, and we got Ratatouille for the Nintendo DS as well as many other games. But this is just iconic, right? This has to be iconic. I'm trying to get the Eiffel Tower in frame, but yeah, this is crazy. This is insane. I am very happy I managed to get Ratatouille for the Nintendo DS here in Paris. But wait, did you actually think that was it? Oh no. What, do you think that was everything that I was going to do here in Paris? Oh no. Just to wait till next week where I go to Disneyland Paris. But for that, again, you have to wait for next week. So don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I also did game hunting in Madrid, where I went to 10 different stores in Madrid, in Spain. If you want to check that out, I will link it in the description down below. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.